problem is, if we're not careful, our wounds will begin leading our way forward. But they're terrible navigators. And they're especially dangerous because they feel like wisdom. And I think all of us can understand that kind of a season too. Any of us who've ever navigated middle school know what it's like to have people spread rumors about us. And it's not fun. But I think the worst lies are not the lies that are out there somewhere. They're the lies that land in here somewhere. They're not the ones we can look at and be like, yeah, that person said that about me, but I'm not worried if that's not true. They're the ones we begin to believe about ourselves. And when we start asking, is that true? Is that really who I am? You guys, please hear me on this. You have an enemy who is bent on your destruction, and Jesus says his native language is lies, and he will whisper lies to you about your identity all your life. For all your life, he's going to tell you you're too messed up. You're too far gone. You'll never overcome this. Your story is always going to be bad. You are not enough. You are too much. You're unlovable. You're unworthy. You'll never change. You're useless. You're worthless. You're stuck. And some of us in this room this morning have believed those lies. Some of us maybe believe them right now. And if you've ever believed any of that stuff was true about you, can I ask you a question? Who told you that? Like, what voice told you that? Because it was not the voice of God. It was another voice. I said this a couple weeks ago. I'll say it again this morning. The voices we listen to become the lenses we live through. We start hearing them and then speaking them back to ourselves in the mirror, saying, maybe I am who they say that I am. And when we listen to the lies and they land on our identity, it shifts the way we navigate the universe. But it's easy to do. You ever stop and think how mean we are to ourselves sometimes? Like, I say stuff to me that I would never say to any of you. If I talk to you the way I talk to me, you would not come back to this church. I'd be like, hey, good morning, welcome to Revision. I'm so excited you're here. You're pretty much a failure. I know you're disappointing lots of people. Maybe your whole life is a disappointment. Have a great day. Most of you, if I said that to you, you're like, Mike's a jerk. I'm going to karate chop him in the neck. And that's fair. Not all of you. Some people like abusive pastors because they've been conditioned to believe that that's fire and brimstone and manly. Like, that's tough. You have to say destructive words to others. That's how you lead, like Jesus. Like, for real, if tearing somebody else down is part of what makes you, you understand nothing of masculinity or Christianity. But that's a rant for another day. Like, I will never say that kind of stuff to you because it isn't true. And I shouldn't say it to me because it isn't true, but you get me alone with myself, and I can fixate on some failures. I can start thinking about stuff people have done to me or said about me that landed on my soul, and I can start believing, like, man, what is the point of me? I am all of these lies. I am my worst moments. And look, if my identity was attached to my failure, like, first of all, I'd be schizophrenic because there's a lot of them. But also it would be toxic for my soul and my future, and it's true for all of us, but this is a profoundly human thing to do. To just decide that we must be the worst things anyone else has ever said about us. And the problem is, if we're not careful, our wounds will begin leading our way forward. But they're terrible navigators. And they're especially dangerous because they feel like wisdom, but our wounds are not wise. And if we don't stop and zoom out and realize, I am not who the world says I am. I am not who the lies of other people say that I am. I am not who my worst moments say that I am. I am not who I say that I am. I didn't make me. I don't get to decide that. I am who my Creator says that I am. If we don't anchor our lives in His love and His truth, then our pain will hijack our path and our fear will hijack our future because our wounds will never lead us in God's way. They only lead us to a smaller future and a lesser place because they're not built on truth. You guys, in our lives, every lie we believe eventually becomes a limit. Like, I can't walk that road. I'll never be able to accomplish that. I'm not going to be able to live the story I thought God was writing in my life. I'm unworthy of that because fill in the blank. Every lie we ever let land on our soul begins to limit who we are and who we are becoming. And so it matters quite a bit that the rhythms of our lives consistently point us back to truth. That we, like David, are marinating in the love and the goodness of God, that we're getting together with his people in his presence, that we're praying and hearing from him, that we're opening up his word and letting him pour out his heart to us. And if you're like, man, I don't even know how to read the Bible, where I would start, or how to pray, we have a team of people that would love to do that. Tap your phone to that sticker. Let us know. Like, we want to walk alongside you in that, because the rhythms of our lives that lead us into the presence of God create way less space for those lies to limit us, because we don't believe them when we're regularly hearing truth.